Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to talk about a very important topic in technical analysis world, which is trend. The trend following is a forever topic in our analysis because nobody want to do anything against the trend. This indicator name is TSP, and the TSP stands for Trend Spectrum. And this is the indicator only available in our software. Obviously, so this is a trend monitoring type of indicator. So we introduced this indicator is to help you to more like identify the trend changes uh, behind the scene in a visual way. So um, yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the trend first, and I'll just in case somebody do not understand this concept, and then after that I'm gonna just digging into this particular indicator and how we can use it. Okay, so let's move on our application. So the trend in a very classic definition is just a very easy concept, and if there's underlying security creating the higher high and the higher low, and that is means the stock is moving up, which is the uptrend. Okay, so as you can see, this one, that's the clearly uptrend. And conversely, if you see the security keep creating a lower low and a lower high, and price moving lower, this means this security is in a downtrend. As you can see here, we're creating a lower high and a lower low, and keep doing this lower high again, and then lower low here. So this is the downtrend. Um, so the trend actually has the trend is so we're trying to follow in the right trend. So for example, you don't want to do any long buy long in the downtrend share security, and obviously you don't want to short for a security in the uptrend, right? So that you will get burned. The trend itself has some characteristics, so attribute. So if the trend in the long time frame trend, it has more significance than the smaller time frame. So what I really mean is, if you see the monthly trend is up, if you see the monthly chart, it's uptrend. So and the weekly chart is uptrend. So the monthly uptrend is more significant than a weekly uptrend. So obviously, a monthly uptrend is more significant than a daily uptrend because daily price fluctuations uh, doesn't create any significance than a monthly uptrend, right? So the same theory applies to the downtrend. If you see a monthly downtrend, so so that's much that has much more meaning and significance than the the share or stock in a daily downtrend, because it could be it's just an intermediate trend. So the big background is still a downtrend in the long time frame chart, because the trend itself has the momentum for a very solid downtrend or uptrend. If you want a trend, is if the trend wants to turn it over or reversal, it takes some time to make that action. Just like a train, many people make this example. A train has the great momentum, a train moving forward, just like the train's moving forward with a lot of momentum. You want to turn around for that train or turn on at a very heavy truck, for example, and then it will take a lot of actual force to make it do a U-turn. So the train has its own momentum. All right, so that's another attribute for train. Usually, how we if we don't use any indicator, etc. So in the technical analysis world, we try to draw a trend line to estimate those trend. For example, let's bring up our drawing tool. So you can draw a trend line. So what is a trend line? The trend line is a tool, actually the drawing to connecting those troughs in the uptrend, so indicates like here. So you're connecting all the troughs together to form a trend line. The trend line at least should have two troughs, right? Because you need a 2 point to draw a line. So, but we also have a concept called a significant trend line. The significant trend line requires more than three troughs, like this one. As you can see, the uptrend line, because it's uptrend, so uptrend line connecting 1, 2, 3 is more than 3 troughs. So this is a significant trend line. But here, if you only connecting the very recent price action from this trough, connecting these two together, so this is not a significant trend line. This is just a normal trend line. The significant trend line has more support than a normal trend line, because the significant trend line supports the price more than 3 times. If a trend line supports or stop the price from moving down or up many times, and then this trend line becomes very significant, very important. And same, we can, as you can see here, let's trace some the downtrend for this particular share. If you're connecting this one and here, as you can see, so tell me, this should be a significant trend line. Why? Because it's connecting more than 3 picks. Okay, so here in this area particularly, this trend line stops price from going up for many weeks, because we are in the weekly chart. So as you can see here, at least 3 times. So plus that one, that's 4 picks. So this is obviously a significant downtrend line. When the price breaks a significant trend line, or has more meaning, right? So that becomes a more important event, like here. But if you draw another trend line like this one and connecting these two, connecting this one and this one, there's not a proper way to draw it, because we want to connecting that. Okay, so here it's another significant trend line, because you're connecting these two peaks. So as you can see, this trend line is steeper than the previous one. So in the way how we draw the trend lines, it's very various, because the trend line actually different people can draw it by different ways. Best, particularly for different investor, analyst, and they have different way to draw the trend line. So this is a pretty fuzzy concept, because you're trying to draw a correct trend lines. You're trying to connecting as many picks or troughs as you can to generate a relatively correct trend line. Like this one, if you draw in this way, as you can see here, it doesn't really takes any support for the price action right here. So obviously this one, the first one I draw, is more correct. So okay, so that's the trend line. So another attribute of the trend line is when the trend line is steep, very steep, so it's less significant, because very steep price action like here in this period of time, it's very hard to last or be stable. So this type of move, when the price sharply going up or down, you can draw a very steep trend line. So the steep trend line less significant than a flat trend line. So because the angle actually means the resistance, the powerful of the trend line. So most of the powerful trend line you draw is actually a support, a horizontal line, right? So if the horizontal line is it's more significant than any steep when the trend line have some angle. So this is the strongest support, or it could be the strongest resistance, right? If you see the very steep trend line, be careful, and that price might be that status, or say momentum, could not be last for any longer. All right, as you can see, it breaks here. Cool. So this is the normal way that we deal with the trend analysis trend by drawing a trend line. So let me just introduce our way to do it. So in our application, uh, we have an indicator. So that's the topic in this tutorial, which is the trend spectrum. So when you want to bring up the trend spectrum, what you want to do is click on the indicators. You find this TSP, the trend spectrum. Uh, they have two, stars behind it. I'll explain what that means. If you click that, as you can see those spectrum draw as the background of this chart. Same with here. You want to do here. The trend spectrum is added to your chart. Okay, the meaning of the stars behind those indicators pretty much it means if you see those stars means that's only supported in our application, and this is not the normal indicators like conventional indicators like moving average, Bollinger Bands, etc. But this is only our technical analysis tool provided indicators. All right. When you have the 3 stars here, so we will have this another video tutorial cover that one. So those ones are not. So those ones are in progress. We're still doing a lot of research on this type of indicators. So if it's mature, or we will let all the users know. But the TSP, the trend spectrum, is kind of a mature indicators. As you can see, when you see those spectrum, it has 3 colors appears. Let's explain what's that mean. Okay, so basically, as you can see here is the configuration of the spectrum. So spectrum have 3 colors. The first one is the uptrend color. So at the moment, default is the green, means uptrend. Red means downtrend. Blue means no trend, which means not decided. Trend is not clear, so it's kind of sideways movements. You can configure this color. For example, in the Asia area, people like to see the uptrend is red. You can turn it upside down. So you can specify the uptrend as red, downtrend as green. So you can turn it. All right. So specify these 3 colors. This is only 3 attributes you can change. So let me just bring up this to its default. Okay. So green is uptrend, blue is no trend or undecided, and red is downtrend. As you can see here, we define the sum of stages here. So instead of a trend line, you can see sometimes when the price is correct itself, the blue colors appears. That means the trend is correction or either in correction, but its correction is in a very steep, very serious or very well, not that powerful correction. So you can see even in the uptrend, you can see all those red color will appear, which is in a short period of time of these 3 weeks, this particular security actually is almost turned into a downtrend, but it reverts itself back. So as you can see, the color turns back to green. So this is uptrend chart, as you can see in another one. So the large area is red, right? So I don't need to. So just by looking at this chart, looking at the spectrum behind this security, you clearly know this share is in a downtrend. Okay, so it also can be noticed in the monthly chart as well. As you can see, the monthly, if you see the large continuing areas are in the red color, that means this particular security is a very strong downtrend, right? Let me just bring up the monthly chart for the first uptrend. As you can see, large areas in green. That means this uptrend is very strong even in the monthly scale. So when you do anything in the middle, as you can see, this big larger area in the monthly chart, you'll be putting something in your mind, and you probably know, okay, so this particular share is still in a very strong uptrend. So is it okay? So that's we normally do in the weekly chart, daily chart. Okay, daily chart you also can do this type of uh, estimation. As you can say, if you turn on the daily chart, as you can see, the daily chart, the 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 spectrum applies as well. Okay, so because the trend has the its attribute of a long time span uptrend takes more significant when you estimate the recent chart behavior. As you can see, the monthly chart for this share is green, which means it's in the monthly uptrend. Weekly, it is also a uptrend. So you might don't want to do any short for the daily chart. So as you can see, because you have this background information in your mind, you know at the moment is the monthly uptrend. I'm dealing with a monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend share, right? Cool. So that's the very easy. So that's the information, how we read the information uh, from the trend spectrum indicator. Cool. Let's come back to uh, these indicators. So when I did some train line drawings here, so I want to bring up some of the questions for the conventional train line to monitoring the trend, because in the train line way, we have problems here. So first of all, you don't know when is that trend start, right? And also you have no idea is where you have no idea about the underlying trend is in question or not. The status behind the trend line, it doesn't tell you much. So in this particular indicator, we kind of solve this problem. Is, as you can see, the continuation uptrend, like green color, it has a edge, it has a start point, it has an end point, right? So when you see a continuing red, green or red, so which means the trend is not in question, so you kind of can sit back um, to when you look at this. But if you see the trend, as you can see here, the green color suddenly turns into red from this red bar. Actually, as you can see, maybe you can't see clearly, but here you will know this bar stops that continuation green area. You got to be careful when you see this happening. So it could be two things. First one is this uptrend needs some break now. Okay, so it's running a couple of months, as you can see, half year, and this trend needs a breakout. So it needs a correction, or this trend might be turned around. So when the thing's going on, as long as this stays in the blue, so it's still in the correction mode. If it's turned back to green, you mean this break is finished and the trend has to go on forward and moving higher. Okay, so that's the benefits of this trend spectrum indicators, can actually tells you to monitoring this trend, and also can pre warn you some of the underlying correction, or trend turn around could happen. All right, let's see another example in the downtrend. So when you see this continuation, red, that means the downtrend is solid. If you short this particular security, and you can sit back, but this this area suddenly turns blue, and you probably knows. Okay, so the correction's happening for the downtrend. The downtrend, some people might cover the short, so the price will be moving up a bit. So you might also need to cover a short and just wait and see what happening after that. Yeah, it even turns green, so you can see what's going on when it turns green. It has two, tails here, so it's strongly rejected what this kind of level is. You can do some analysis and decide what's the action you want to make next. So as you can see, as here, the continuous red area, which means the downtrend is solid. You don't need to worry too much about it. So, but here it turns blue again. Yeah. So actually, it tells you some extra bit of information, what's happening behind the underlying trend. Okay. So this is the normally how we use this trend. So this indicator um, can also tells you something when it's sort of consolidating. For example, let's draw um, let's draw a rectangle here. As you can see here, this particular share moves into a consolidation pattern, right? Before it breaks out. If it's consolidation, of course, if it breaks out from this trading range, the trend has to be ongoing because down the line is the uptrend. So uptrend should keep going. So you should see the green color. As you can see here, it makes a tail trying to break out. But here, as you can see, when the price moving above, and the trend spectrum turn back to green, and you will be more confident about this breakout because that up trend is still going. So you can add you can buy more, or some of the speculator you can get in at this point. So basically, so trend spectrum provides extra information about a breakout or breakdown. So in here instead, for example, here looks to me looks like a head and shoulder pattern. It's unfolding. It looks like this is right shoulder, not very obvious, but yes, so you can see this, and you can draw a support line here. So pretty much from here. Oops, let me just draw carefully. Okay, so you can draw a resistance support line here. So this is a neckline of this pattern. Uh, it's the trend spectrum is in red at the moment. So as a trader, you might not want to get in right now. As you can see, it breaks down. So you're expecting this trend is going to be keep moving down. Um, but when this share stands back above this neckline, and then the underlying trend becomes green, and you will know this probably uh, not the moment for the trend. It's probably not want to turn a reversal right now. So as you can see here, it's moving up again. So the trend spectrum is in the red for this couple of weeks. Actually, it's a weekly chart. You don't buy long when the weekly chart is in the downtrend, right? So you have to wait and see. As you can see, the spectrum actually provides the valuable information. Okay, so let me just see. Cool. So this is let me just get rid of those drawing here. This is a quite straightforward indicator, and then it's very interesting, and then it's very easy to just see the chart, see the color, you know what is going on. But I want to ask you a question: is how nice if we buy fund here, right? That's going to be very good, right? So we want to long this share. You want to get in like this kind of situation. So what kind of situations be when the shares breaks out? What we normally want to get in a share is we want to get in when a share breaks out for trading range, and you can see uh, the trend spectrum turning the first turning into green, which means you wanted the most profit, even though at this point in time you don't know this uptrend will create a continuing green area for a long time. You don't know that, but what if there is a probability that this time the trend can move up solid for a couple of months, so you can have a quite decent profit. So normally the first time the the spectrum turning into green color is what we want to buy, right? As you can see, if we buy here, as the first green spectrum here, as you can see, it's moving solid up. How nice is that? All right. But the same theory is that if you want to short, um, when it's the first time it's turning into red, you start short. That probably you have very decent profit as well. So actually, you in our application, we can provide some of the tools that you can use spectrum to provide some market scan. For example, I want to do a market scan here to help you guys understand more what are we trying to do. So first of all, if you want to create any filter against the trend spectrum, so that's a trend related, okay? So afterwards in our future releases, any indicators related with trend, you will be able to use it in the trend filter. So trend filter, if you click here, as you can see, you bring up the trend filter manager. I already created so lots of the filters here. Let's open any one of it. If you double click, as you can see here, it's a weekly uptrend. Okay, that's a typo. No, it's a bullish sentiment. Um, it's price. What I'm doing is doing the price trend scanner. All right. So this trend scanner is actually means the TSP, the trend spectrum, based on the closing price, weekly chart, and I want to see is uptrend is true. Okay. I want to see this filter actually just give me all the shares which is weekly is uptrend. It's like that easy. So you can also create another one. For example, we also have another one. The monthly is uptrend. So the monthly uptrend is in the bigger time scale time span that uptrend is in place. All right. So there's one thing I'm missing. I have to add it back. Is not only you can apply this trend spectrum on a price chart, you can also apply the same trend spectrum on some indicators. This is quite valuable information as well. For example, if you bring up the unbalanced value, for example, here, as you can see, the unbalanced value is a trend, it's a line chart, right? As we already talked about in another tutorial, the OBV unbalanced volume indicator, you can do the trend analysis on this type of indicator as well, because you want to, when the price going up, you want to see the OBV also moving up. When the price is in the uptrend, the OBV should be also in the uptrend, so that gives me more confidence about this security, about this uptrend, right? So you want to make sure you can see here. OBV moves in a uptrend. So here it's moving at a temporary downtrend along with the price correction, but after corrected, and it's OBV and OBV moving in the blue, but the price moving in the blue, and here it's returning back to green. So you can apply the trend spectrum on the indicators as well. So let's create another filter. So this one is filter is called OBV monthly is in the uptrend. So what you want to do is you select, instead of select the price trend scanner, you select the indicator trend scanner, because we want to examine the indicators trend, and which indicator you want to use. We want to examine the OBV. All right. We're going to add the RSD as well. The RSD, remember, is relative strength dosage, so that one is also the OBV category. So it's a trend category indicator. We're obviously gonna be here. Less significant for those three. We're gonna explain those details in the later filter creation tutorials. But for now, we pick the OBV, and we want to check the monthly chart. OBV indicator is an uptrend. Is true. That would be a very bullish sign, right? So let's just say, let's create a scanner. When you create a scanner, you go into market scan management. We already created a trend filter demo one. In here, there's some settings. So this sentiment, you say it's bullish type. So basically, you want to select the market data. So at the moment, I'm uploaded Australia share market use defined. So I'm just getting from my own broker data instead of downloaded. So that's the data. I want to double click from here. As you can see, double click here. It's going to the selected market data. I'm gonna do the scan on this market data. Okay. All right. As you can see here, all the filters will be displayed here at the moment. The categories only applies to indicator filters and the trend filters. But the selected filters, as you can see, I have some of the selection here. So what this scanning will do is give me all the shares, which is monthly is uptrend, weekly is also uptrend, and daily is also uptrend, right? on top of that, I also want the monthly unbalanced value, unbalanced volume indicator is also in uptrend. Okay, to give the best, you also give me the weekly OBV is uptrend as well. So that conditions, because I created all of those filters, I can just select here. If you don't, basically what you do is just double click the items fund here, and it will goes to right, right? Okay, and then I'll specify the scanning period. So basically, you want to scan because at the time I recording this tutorial is 13th of November. It's a Saturday. Actually, I want to select the 5th of November, the week ago. Okay, so I want to, if you want to latest, obviously want to pick the last Friday, which is yesterday. But for the demo purpose, I pick up the that one. That's okay. So once you select that, and you have to go into the market scan control panel. So actually, that's control all your scanning. If you go in here, as you can see, I already done the first time, but doesn't matter. So you can see the trained filter demo 1 scanner is here. I'm taking the star. It will start to pops out this one to confirm the condition. What is the scan star, and to what dates and what type of filters exactly. So this is the filters I just picked up here. Let's give you a summary here. If you click OK, and then the technical analysis tool start to doing his job to scanning all the 3,000 shares, and based on your conditions, give me all the uptrend, monthly uptrend, weekly weekly uptrend, and daily uptrend, OBV weekly uptrend plus OBV weekly uptrend. See how many fulfill these conditions. All right, it doesn't take too long. It's finished. When it's finished, you go back to the market scan management page we just showed you, and right click here, the scan result history, refresh it. As you can see, the results appears. If you double click, so this is the results of this scan provided to us. As you can see, after these are the results, and then we have the counter, how many of them. This is the ticker name or symbol name of this particular security, and give you a line chart for the overview. What is actually underlying picket security look like. You can have a quick glance at here. It's quite convenient, and then you can see those is the picked up, right? For this line chart, you can see it basically picks up the pretty good shares. It does going up. Most of them are going up, right? And then you can, if you want to examine each one of them, are interested in your so say if you want to, so you can do your manual checkout. For example, you want to check the individual chart, you just right click, just double click on it. Let's just make an example. For example, this one, ALL, and just double click. It brings up that chart weekly, as you can see. So this is the weekly chart of this Aristocrat Leisure. So this is the gaming company. So that's the candle, the chart looks like, right? So it's quite a, let's apply our indicators. For example, let's put back our trend spectrum. Yes, it's weekly. It is, even though it's coming down a bit, and for the weekly, so this is uptrend. Monthly, it is also in its uptrend. Daily, so there's a little bit. Okay, so weekly, monthly, I'm not sure why daily is not is in the blue, but let's say it's OBV. OBV, yes, weekly is uptrend OBV. OBV is in green, so that's the OBV is uptrend. Monthly, okay, so monthly is very interesting. It's also a uptrend. So because we are still, by the time I'm at the time when I'm recording our videos, this software is still in the better in the progress of development. If it goes to your hand, I think it's already fixed it. So yes, so if you see some of the small places that in the demo it doesn't work behavior correctly, we'll fix it. Let's examine another one. For example, the ALQ. Let's apply the daily chart, and then we'll just bring up our TSP. Okay, so this one is correct. So the daily chart is uptrend. You can see daily chart actually is the first uptrend. When you going, so as I mentioned, it's the first time to go back to the green color. So this is very significant. I mean, this is important because in our filter, if you trend filter, at a trend, let's say price, closing price, weekly chart function, you can see those functions. We do have another function is you can scan all the shares which is the first turning uptrend, right? So this is, if you apply this, it will only give you this type of shares. Is first bar turning back to green. That's, you can see the slight, very slim green color here. So actually, it's the first time it's turning green because we want to find all this. For example, when it's break up from this rectangle trading range here. Oops. Just a very quick example though. When it breaks up, you want to see the first time that the security is turning green again. It's the first green bar, an uptrend bar. Okay, so yeah, you do can provide those scan here there. I will talk about more later. But yeah, so this is another. So this is the example how we can use this trend spectrum indicator to give us fairly good information when we're doing this scan, because we want to buy share, we want to buy an uptrend, so you can apply those kind of scan. This is not the perfect one, so because all this, as you all the market screening or scan or filter you created not applied 100% accurate, so you do need to do your manual review for these results. If you see this results gives you too many options, like this time give us 553, you can actually adding more strict filter conditions here to shrink the size. Cool. Okay, so I think I have give you guys all the information that I have regards to how to use this trend spectrum indicator. So hopefully the contents will be helpful. You know how to use this indicator, and then by using this indicator to improve your decision making and then technical analysis. I really appreciate your time to stay with me another almost 40 minutes. Thank you for your watching. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye for now.